Do you believe wholeheartedly that Jesus is Father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like it's not as far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have had.
Are you scared for your life? It's unfortunate that you were shot at. I'm glad that you were okay from that. Do you think that was a situation where you were targeted? If so, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. I mean, it was a scary situation. I'm pointing no fingers. I'm just asking everybody, all the judges or anybody who's working on the case, to do what's right and do their job the correct way, even if you overlook something or didn't see something. Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct.
A federal judge recently ordered Jay-Z to take a paternity test. Less than 48 hours later, the car belonging to the man claiming to be his son was shot up with bullets. That wasn't random, it was a warning. The message was loud and clear: stay quiet or else. But this isn't just some street-level drama. It's a legal battle, a media cover-up, and a billion-dollar empire trying to silence one man before the truth comes out and changes everything. Back in 1992, Jay-Z allegedly had a brief relationship with a 16-year-old girl named Wanda Satterthwaite, known on the streets as Precious. They had a one-time hookup. It was supposed to be safe, but Wanda later claimed the condom broke. She got pregnant. After that, her life became chaotic. Jay-Z disappeared. She had no way to reach him. This was long before Instagram, cell phones, or publicists tracking his every move. She never saw him again. And remember, she was just 16 years old. When she gave birth, Wanda was unconscious in the hospital. Her boyfriend at the time, Robert Graves, signed the birth certificate. People close to Wanda say Robert knew the baby wasn't his, but he signed it anyway to qualify for extra government benefits like food stamps. And that's when the pain really started piling up. When the child, Rymir, turned 8 years old, Wanda sat him down and told him the truth. Jay-Z is your father.
7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now, and she was saying Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling it Jay-Z. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young, had my little brother, and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father.
Wanda never changed her story. For years, she begged Jay-Z to take a paternity test, even offering to handle it privately. But Jay-Z never responded. Still, Wanda didn't give up. She kept fighting, even when the odds were against her. She ran into roadblocks, motions denied, lawyers who stopped returning her calls, and judges who told her she was wasting the court's time. But she stayed strong. When she realized her health was failing and she might not live to see the truth come out, she made one final move. She signed a sworn statement saying that Jay-Z was Rymir's father. In 2019, Wanda passed away from heart failure. Before she died, she told Rymir to keep going and never stop fighting. She believed the truth would come out someday. Wanda wasn't after fame or attention. She just wanted her son to know where he came from. But Jay-Z stayed silent. Now Rymir is an adult, and he's continuing the battle his mother started. In 2014, he filed a civil paternity case against Jay-Z. This time, he had help from his godmother and legal guardian, Lily Coley, who had been there for him since Wanda's health began to decline. But that's when things started to get shady. Jay-Z didn't respond like a normal person might. Instead, his legal team allegedly set up a complicated web of delays, tricks, and false claims, all just to avoid taking a simple DNA test. Think about that. Instead of a quick swab, they allegedly tried to beat the system. Here's what happened. Rymir and Lily filed the case in New Jersey because that's where Jay-Z reportedly hooked up with Wanda. And it's also where he was rumored to own property. Their goal was simple: prove Jay-Z had ties to New Jersey so the court could demand a paternity test. But Jay-Z's lawyers responded with a legal technicality. They said he didn't live in New Jersey, so the court had no power over him. The problem is, there's evidence he did have property. Their tax records, property documents, and even business filings show that Jay-Z had strong ties to the state. Still, his team allegedly used a New York address to avoid the case, and it worked. The court dismissed it. But it didn't stop there. According to Lily, during one of Wanda's hospital stays when she had just come out of a coma, Jay-Z's legal team allegedly showed up with paperwork. Wanda, still sedated and confused, was pressured into signing documents she didn't fully understand. That moment gave Jay-Z's team a major advantage, and the case was thrown out once again. And it gets worse. Lily claims that Rymir's own legal team might have secretly worked with Jay-Z's side. She says some lawyers intentionally made errors, filing incorrect paperwork, delaying deadlines, and making it look like the case was being mishandled on purpose. It appeared like both sides were working against Rymir. And once again, the court didn't care. The case was tossed. As Rymir and Lily kept digging, they found more and more sealed records. All this just to avoid a DNA swab. If Jay-Z isn't the father, why go to such extremes? The truth is, it might not just be about the test. It's about what that test could reveal. If Jay-Z is Rymir's father, that means he had a child with a 16-year-old girl, which could be considered statutory rape depending on the laws at the time and place. That's why people are starting to ask bigger questions. Is this really about avoiding a paternity test, or is Jay-Z trying to bury something more serious? Even when Rymir filed motions with the Supreme Court to unseal older records, he was denied. Not because he was wrong, but because the court said it didn't have the power to get involved. Every door he knocked on seemed to close in his face.
Enough information to keep the case going, so it was a big case to me because, I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it. I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but I really feel like it should have been over with because, I feel like if it was anybody else, I'm not saying this because people got higher standards or people make more money than that, but it's just different because, if it was anybody else that made a low income, I feel like they would have had them in there way faster than people that's wealthy.
But then everything changed. A federal judge finally stepped in and ordered Jay-Z to respond to the paternity case. And here's the part most people missed. Under New Jersey law, if Jay-Z doesn't respond, he is legally assumed to be the father. That decision changed everything. No more avoiding the case. No more silence. Jay-Z now had two options: the DNA test, or be legally recognized as Rymir's father. But right after that court order, things took a dark turn. Rymir says he was shot at. Let's talk about what happened after the judge made that ruling on July 18th. As soon as the court stopped protecting Jay-Z, the situation suddenly became dangerous. In September 2023, just weeks later, Rymir says someone shot at him while he was in his driveway. He wasn't alone, other people were around, and the parking lot was full. But somehow, only his car was hit.
Are you scared for your life? It's unfortunate that you were shot at. I'm glad that you were okay from that. Do you think that was a situation where you were targeted? If so, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. It was a scary situation. But it's just unfortunate. I'm from North Philadelphia. I'm not saying I got nothing, but I saw a gunshot. I heard gunshots and saw crazy shit before. So, but it definitely was a scary situation because I never been through it. I barely come outside and I stay to myself. So it's like,
Lily confirmed the whole incident during an interview on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. She said it felt like payback for speaking out and going public with their story.
Somewhere in September, he was in the parking lot with other people, near where he's at living now. And out of all the cars there, his was the only one shot up. So we believe that was a nexus or a connection, I believe, between the case and what's going on because it was around the time. In addition to that, we've had people come to my home in the past, driving on the grass. We have people knocking on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've been through all of it, mostly around the filing time. So this is a bigger picture than this. We want to try to make a difference with Pro Se Act or the Legal Abuse Act, bringing new legislation and trying to sit down at the table with the lawmakers to make a difference.
This wasn't the first time they felt unsafe. Lily says she and Rymir had been stalked, followed, and threatened for years while trying to move the case forward. And the closer they got to making Jay-Z take that DNA test, the more serious and intense the threats became. Now, here's where things take an even messier turn. According to Lily, they believe Beyonce may have gotten involved behind the scenes. It's almost like she was the one secretly calling the shots.
We're saying that she's a big part of the problem for him, and some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not, she would have some sort of role in what her husband does. And if she was secure with herself and with the situation, not saying you gotta like it, she would help her husband handle it.
They say Beyonce wanted Rymir to be shut down quietly, not because she thought he was lying, but because she was allegedly afraid of what the truth could do to her and Jay-Z's billion-dollar family image. According to Lily, Beyonce wanted the case killed before it could hit the headlines. At one point, Jay-Z's team briefly talked about signing Rymir to ROC Nation, but Lily says Beyonce shut that down fast. The offer disappeared overnight, and then came the music shade. Jay-Z dropped a line in his song Heard About Us that seemed like a direct shot at Rymir. He rapped Billie Jean in his prime for the 1000th time. The kid ain't mine. Online they call me dad. Kiddingly, don't take this dad thing literally. Every day I'm getting sued. I show up to court without a suit. That wasn't some random Barit, felt personal. At that point, Rymir had been trying to get a DNA test for over 10 years. So how did he respond? With a song of his own. He rapped lines like, "Ninjas washed up, still doing tracks like 55. Where the F you at? Need to go back to your old days." Grown man in his old ways. Rymir said his track wasn't meant to diss Jay-Z, it was his way of taking back his voice. If Jay was going to dismiss him in a billion-dollar recording studio, Rymir felt he had the right to respond in his own way. By then, Lily and Rymir started documenting everything: timestamps, damage, photos, names, cars, even drive-by incidents. They spoke with Tasha K. They talked to the Sun. They went on hip-hop, uncensored. Because if something happened to them, at least the story would still be out there at this point. Rymir wasn't just fighting for a DNA test anymore. He was up against an entire legal system that seemed more focused on protecting Jay-Z's image than delivering real justice. And the more you look into the facts, the more obvious it becomes. This was never a fair fight. For starters, 6 different judges were involved in this case over the years, and somehow, not one of them forced Jay-Z to take a paternity test. In 2023, Rymir and Lily filed a brand new lawsuit not against Jay-Z directly, but against the New Jersey court system itself. They accused it of fraud, obstruction of justice, and violating their civil rights. Their goal was to hold the judges accountable, judges who, they believe, worked together to protect Jay-Z. Rymir explained it all himself in a video.
Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct. Because you cannot use fraud to continue anything in this world. You can't use fraud to help you get forward in life. Then try to continue on your fraud or continue using fraud to get forward in life, and of course it's let you do that. That's unconstitutional, and I think we should really look into fix that.
It gets even worse. When Rymir asked the court to unseal records from the early hearings, the Supreme Court said no. Not because he was wrong, but because they claimed they didn't have the authority to get involved. And here's the important part under New Jersey law. If someone refuses to take a paternity test and there's enough supporting evidence, that person can legally be presumed to be the father. In other words, by law, Jay-Z could have already been declared Rymir's dad, but the court never enforced it. Now, after 14 years of legal fees, court filings, and emotional stress, Rymir is still fighting just to get one answer. Clear, this case was dragged out and possibly sabotaged on purpose to protect Jay-Z's image and avoid a major public scandal.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. These judges, these lawyers, this fraud, collusion, who knows what it's for, money or friendships or whatever they got going on, but I can honestly say that we should never go in the courtroom feeling like we're already the victims and we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong but come in here, tell you guys the truth, put our life on the line.
Because let's be honest, if this ever goes to trial, and Jay-Z's name ends up in court alongside claims that he fathered a child with a minor, especially in today's post-star Kelly world, this won't just be a paternity case, it'll be a public relations disaster. After nearly 20 years of silence, sealed records, threats, fake addresses, and missed court dates, the clock is finally ticking. Jay-Z has until July 18th to respond to the federal judge's order. If he doesn't, he will legally be presumed to be Rymir's father. But that's not the only thing hanging in the balance right now. Behind the scenes, there's another story, one that might explain why Jay-Z has worked so hard to keep everything buried. Word on the street is that Rymir may not be the only secret child. For years, there have been quiet rumors about a secret daughter, someone older than Rymir, allegedly born from another brief relationship in the early 1990s. But unlike Rymir, she never went public. The reason? Some say Jay-Z paid her to stay silent. And according to one content creator, Wendy Williams was actually one of the first people to call him out about it.
Wendy Williams explained how Jay-Z has a secret baby by Free from 106 in Park. Now, we know Wendy Williams always kept us rolling with the tea, and Wendy Williams was the first person to expose that Jay-Z had a secret baby by Free. She explained how she was told that Jay-Z and 50 Cent were in the delivery room when Free had her baby. And we know that there have been rumors for years that Jay-Z had a secret baby by Free, and how she was allegedly paid off to keep quiet, and that's why she disappeared from 106 in Park and we've never heard from her again. And honestly, these rumors of Jay-Z having these secret babies back then were huge. There was like 5 different women back then that were rumored to have children with Jay-Z. And yes, when all of this is going on, he was with Beyonce.
That changes everything because it suggests a pattern. Deny the child, but pay to keep them quiet. If Jay-Z was allegedly willing to quietly support a daughter behind the scenes, then why not do the same for Rymir? Why fight this one so aggressively? The answer might come down to 2 key reasons. Wanda was underage when she got pregnant, and Rymir chose to speak out. And now, it might be too late to quietly fix the situation. Rymir has made it clear, he's not after money. He said it again and again. Next.
Really coming out here for the truth. I don't want no money or anything. I wasn't looking for none of that. I just want to know the truth. And if I can't go to the courts and get the truth, like, what is it really? Why are you? What is it? I just really want it over. It's something that's really affecting my.
But Lily's lawsuit is going even further now. They're no longer just asking for a DNA test. They're demanding serious action, punitive damages, a full unsealing of court records, a jury trial, and even a criminal investigation into possible corruption within the court system. This isn't just a small civil case anymore. It has the potential to spark more lawsuits, reveal more hidden truths, and possibly lead to other secret children coming forward. And if Beyonce really did play a role in keeping all of this quiet, it's not just messy, it's a full-blown brand crisis, one that could shake everything they've built. Let's be real, the Carters are media professionals. They've handled scandals before, but this is the one they haven't been able to bury because it's not just rumors anymore. For now, Rymir is stuck in limbo, but he's made it clear he's not giving up. He's ready to keep fighting, even if it takes the rest of his life.
I have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take it. No, I can take. If I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, seen a lot. I can take me being embarrassed. I just can't take nobody not saying nothing.
Now Jay-Z has 2 choices. Take the DNA test or let the court officially name him as Rymir's father forever. And if you thought Rymir was the only one, think again. There's talk about a daughter Jay-Z's team allegedly bought a house for in Connecticut. She never filed a lawsuit. She never went public. And according to insiders, she hasn't had to work a single day since. You've seen the battle with Rymir, the one who spoke up. Now meet the one who stayed silent.